shopping, working, and relaxing online can attract various digital threats. To improve your protection against them, just turn on NordVPN. This cybersecurity app will block web trackers and malware-infected sites. It will also encrypt your internet traffic without losing a smooth connection. Get NordVPN now. NordVPN, cybersecurity built for every day.
Good afternoon, everyone. We'll start with Catherine Hannah from BBC Radio.
Very good afternoon. Hello, David. I suppose we should probably start with your shirt, first of all. Prostate United, can you tell us a little bit about the shirt and what's been going on at Huddersfield Town?
Obviously it's for a good cause. Got some of the backroom staff running, I think, 5-10k every day to raise money for the people fighting against that battle. It's a great cause. Everyone's trying to donate as much as they can possible. So, yeah.
How are they doing? We just had a quick chat with Ross Burberry, your head of performance, and you came in hobbling a little bit as he tried to sign you up for running the odd 10k with him.
Not us, thankfully, but the backroom staff, a lot of them are running literally every day, 5 or 10k, whichever one. And obviously you can see they're probably aching every day, probably running more than we are. So, yeah, like I said, it's for a great cause, and everyone's trying to raise as much money as we can.
Oh, fantastic cause, absolutely. Let's get your reflections on Wrexham. How do you view Tuesday night's draw?
In the end, it was a good point in the end, but obviously we were a bit disappointed at half time with how the first half went. We struggled a bit just to get out of our own half, whatever. But defensively, I feel like we done well. Chappers obviously kept us in it with a great save, and the defenders defended well. And then second half, we tweaked a few things and spoke about what we needed to do, and then it felt like a different game. We were in control for the majority of that second half. We lacked a bit of just a clear-cut chance to try and put the game to bed, but all in all, it was a good point.
And can you tell us any more about those little tweaks that you had to make at half-time to try and find that breakthrough?
Yeah, I feel like obviously we changed some personnel and just tweaked the positioning of the midfield three, just to allow us to press a bit higher and get a bit higher up the field, which then allowed obviously us to have a bit more bodies in their half and just pin them back in a bit. And as you can see, they dropped back and we were the ones playing in their half. So that was the changes that happened, and we didn't get the 3 points in the end, but we did play better in the second half, and like I said, it was a good point.
And in some ways, it's a bit of a marker, isn't it? There's so much hype around Wrexham. Obviously, they've got a good squad. They're right up there. The fact that you've been the first side to go there and take points off them at home this season does send out a bit of a message, doesn't it? It must give you a lot of confidence. Yeah,
I mean, obviously, Wrexham are a good side. They're good at what they do. They're very direct. It's a tough place to play. Obviously, the atmosphere as well, and all the buzz that's happening there as well. So yeah, it's like I said, it is a good point. Well, if we win Saturday, which is our aim, then it'd be a very good point. So yeah, Wrexham are a good side, but at the end of the day, we're disappointed not winning the game anyway. But like I said, we just look on to Saturday now.
And you must be particularly pleased with your own personal performance, right up there with some great stats from that game on Tuesday night. How are you finding your role in midfield at the moment? Because you seem to be combining a lot of the defensive duties, whereas maybe your natural instinct is to be that aggressive, forward-thinking player. So how are you finding that?
It's been good so far. We've had a good couple of results. Obviously, we had a sticky patch before that. But yeah, obviously, I know my role in the midfield, breaking up play and things like that, and obviously my defensive duties and whatnot. And obviously trying to progress the play as well, get on it and try play forward, try drive up the pitch and things like that. Just try help the team. But yeah, obviously, each player has their own qualities and strengths. So obviously that's more my strengths, and each player just needs to bring what they're good at, sort of thing, and then obviously that's how we get the best out of each player.
Is that something that Michael Duff particularly has worked with you on, the more defensive aspect of the game and breaking up the play in the way you do?
Yeah, I feel like obviously the gaffer knows that is my strengths, and obviously that is predominantly what I'm in the team to do, sort of thing. And obviously you need to have other aspects to your game as a midfielder. Everything obviously is important. But obviously, when you're in a team that want to attack, you want to score goals, you want to be the attacking like team sort of thing. So you do need to be aware of like the opposition having counter attacks and things like that. So covering ground quickly and covering the spaces and things like that is something I'm good at. So yeah.
And we know you will never ever shirk a tackle. Is that again something that you've had to work on to just absolutely perfect the timing so you don't catch the eye of the referee too much in that, but equally make sure you're doing the job?
Yeah, of course. Obviously, I'm an aggressive player, and obviously, I like to win the ball back. I like to make tackles and things like that. Yeah, obviously, you got to be careful. Like in a game like Wrexham, where the atmosphere is like that, you don't want to go 10 men down early on because then it does really get difficult. But yeah, that's just part of the game. You just, as you get older, you mature and you realize and you understand the game better and know what challenges you can and can't make, what challenges you need to make for the team and things like that. So that's just about obviously experience and things like that you just get along the way.
Yeah, I was going to say, is that something that you can learn or be taught, or is it just that experience and that instinct that kind of makes sure that you're on the right side of the challenge?
I feel like it's a bit of both. I've had it in the past where some managers are more on you to make them challenges for the team, like to stop the play and sacrifice getting a yellow card for the benefit of the team or whatever. But then obviously, the more experience you get as a player, you understand that there's things that you need to do for the team, and there's just some challenges you don't need to make. Overall, just learn what you need to do and what you don't need to do.
Kind of made reference to this before about, you have come through a little sticky spell, seem to be out the other side of that now, a run of really good results. Have you sensed a change in mindset, which again, something as Michael Duff has talked about, that during the difficult run of results, that when it wasn't going right, have we got the mentality to be able to go, right, we can pick ourselves up from this? Have you noticed a kind of shift in being able to handle it when the chips are down a bit?
Yeah, I feel like it's very normal. Every team is going to go through a spell where they're struggling to find results for a couple games, whatever. It is normal. But at the end of the day, it's about sticking together, having a little reset, figuring out what needs to change, what needs to be done for the next game. And then obviously we picked up a couple of results after. It's not like we've achieved anything yet or whatever. Like we still have loads of games to play in the season. So the chapter isn't finished. But we just look game to game really. And obviously we take points from whatever we didn't do the last game and try to take it into the next game to win.
And as you say, pick up 3 points against Exeter on Saturday. It becomes a good week, becomes a very good week, doesn't it? Yeah,
100%. Obviously, every aim for us is to win games. Doesn't matter the opposition. Exeter are going to bring their own problems. They're quite, like fifth, sixth in the league or something like that. So they're obviously there for a reason or whatever. We obviously need to look at how we can beat them, and we just take every game as it comes.
Best of luck Saturday. Thank you, David.
We'll go to Stephen from the Terriers.
Hey, Cass. Obviously, started the season out the side, had the injury, you've come back, but you've then come in and made that place your own. Is that patience paying off? What kind of conversation you had with the gaffer around it? Talk us through it.
Obviously, it's one of them ones. Obviously, like I started the season out of the team, but obviously it's a long season, so like every player's gonna need to wait for their chance and take their chance or whatever. Like the team's changed so many times, so it's about when you're out of it, how ready are you for when you need to be called upon and things like that, and just being able to make a difference. If you're starting, if you're not starting, the team never stays the same from the first minute to the 90th minute. So whether you're starting or on the bench coming on, you need to take all the information in and just be ready to play and be ready to make a difference when you do play.
Michael Duff said to me on Tuesday he wants to be sort of consistent with his selection policy. Is the message kind of, look, you might have to wait for your chance, but if you do well when you get it, then you'll keep your place, because you're not the only one in that position, are you?
Yeah, I mean, obviously that's quite normal, I guess, in probably every football team. The team's never really going to stay the same because there's injuries, there's so many different factors that can happen. If you go on a run where you're losing games, things need to change. Obviously, like I said, injuries happen, so it's when the players do get called upon that have been out of the team, that's their chance, obviously, to make an impact. If you play well, then obviously you stay in the team and whatnot. So yeah, I feel like that's just normal. Every player knows that if they're out of the team, keep working, keep your head straight, and when you do get called upon, just being ready.
Make up that midfield at the moment is kind of, roughly speaking, a destroyer, a passer, a 10. You're in that destroyer role at the moment. I think Hoggy would be your most natural competition. Do you have a bit of competition going on on the training ground between the two of you?
I mean, there's probably competition throughout the whole team because we've got a big talented group. We've got a lot of players in every different position. There's competition for places in every single position, so everyone is competing for a shirt, which is good because it pushes you to play your A game every game. So yeah, there's definitely competition for places for literally everyone in the team, whether you're in it, out of it. So it's just about when you're out of it, training hard, and obviously when you do get your chance, make the most out of it, and obviously when you are playing, make the most out of it when you're playing. So yeah, there's definitely competition for places, which is definitely a good thing at a football club, and it just really does kick everyone on.
Fantastic. Well, all the best for Saturday. Thank you.
Thanks, Stephen. Give us 1 second, and we'll make his way around to Leon on Zoom from the Yorkshire Coast. 1 second, Leon. Right, fire away, mate. Thank you.
Hi, David. Hope you're well. You touched on Hoggy there. He's a top player and a top professional. Have you learned anything from him to sort of help you in your career?
Yeah, 100%. Since I've signed, obviously, majority of the time I've been playing alongside Hoggy for the last 2 seasons, and obviously you've seen his career. He's had a great career.
Yeah.
You do learn so much. He's such a leader and a great professional, and obviously you see when he plays, he puts 100% in, literally fights for the shirt, and you can just see that in everything he does on and off the pitch, how he carries himself. So yeah, it's definitely something from when I've signed, I've noticed, and I've definitely learned a lot from him. So yeah, he has helped me a lot during my time here.
You suppose get a few words here and there, but it's all about a bit of tough love to help you, I suppose, isn't it, really?
Yeah, 100%. He will let you know if the standards are dropping, and he will give you credit when credit is due. So yeah, he's a great captain, to be fair to him, and obviously he's had a great career. And yeah, so he does help a lot of the younger players and whatnot, and we can all just learn from each other.
You've just got a great result as a team at Wrexham, obviously stopping their 100% record. Do you think it maybe suits some clubs like Huddersfield, one or two others? All the noise is about Wrexham and Birmingham, isn't it, really? But there's some good teams underneath them. It perhaps maybe suits you going under the radar a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, we're not really too bothered about the noise sort of thing, because at the end of the day, when the season comes to an end, it's not really about the noise, it's about where everyone finishes in the table. We're just focused on each game as it comes, trying to win the games or whatever. And obviously, like I said, every opposition comes with their own strengths and weaknesses, so every game is different, and yeah, we just focus on what we need to do.
It's probably a different sort of pressure fighting league. I mean, this time last season and the one before, it's probably fair to say it was clear. It was almost all about 50 points when it just gets to 50 points, and it's totally different now, isn't it? Different sort of thing you're striving for.
Yeah, I guess obviously I wouldn't say the mindset is different, because as a player, the mindset stays the same for each game. You just win. You just want to go out there and win. You take the information on board that you're given from the staff, and you put that into games. Obviously, the season were a team that is aiming to get promoted or whatever. But like I said, the mindset doesn't really change in terms of you're just going out there giving 100% to win the game. So it stays the same, really.
Important as well, you show your character as a team. You had that bad run earlier this autumn, but you're showing signs of coming out of it, and that's important for you in the context of this season.
Yeah, 100%, because it's a very long season. You're not going to always have that upward trajectory. You're going to have bumps on the road. You know what I mean? It's not an easy league. So it's about, when you do have them tough patches, how you do cope with it and how you do learn from it to get out of it, because it's always going to happen. For every team's going to go through a stage where they lose a couple of games. So yeah.
Thanks for your time, David. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, everyone. We're back on the live stream with Michael Duff at 2:30. Thank you.
Thank you.
Shopping, working, And relaxing online can attract various digital threats. To improve your protection against them, just turn on NordVPN. This cybersecurity app will block web trackers and malware-infected sites. It will also encrypt your internet traffic without losing a smooth connection. Get NordVPN now. NordVPN, cybersecurity built for every day. shopping, working, and relaxing online can attract various digital threats. To improve your protection against them, just turn on NordVPN. This cybersecurity app will block web trackers and malware-infected sites. It will also encrypt your internet traffic without losing a smooth connection. Get NordVPN now. NordVPN, cybersecurity built for every day.
Catherine, BBC Radio London.
Good afternoon, Michael. A quick couple of injury updates first of all. I think you touched on this briefly on Tuesday night, but have you got any more detail on Lasse Sorensen and where he's at now?
No, like we said, 6 to 8 weeks. Obviously, we get the numbers and the letters of the grade, which I can't exactly remember, but for simpletons like me, I'm expecting to be missing 8 weeks. Anything before that's a bonus. So it's disappointing, and it's hard to put a finger on it because it's not a fatigue injury. When you do it in the first 4 minutes of a game, it's a bit like the Misha one. Sometimes you're looking, have they done too much in the week? Is it a fatigue element that we've done too much? But when they're doing it in the first half, sometimes it's just, Misha took a knock. Lasse's was just a mechanism of getting into a sprint, and he felt it go a little bit.
Ollie Turton as well has come into great effect. Seems to be struggling with cramp a little bit. How close is he to being able to play a full 90 for you at the moment?
Well, it's just his body. It's a lack of minutes, which is through no fault of his own. It's Lasse's sort of pretty much him and Brody played that position between them, but he's come in. He did well on Saturday. Thought he did well for 70 minutes. The only reason he come off the pitch is because, and that's probably tells you everything about him, Ollie, in terms of his honesty, that he could probably try and stay on for himself and try and, I'll try and get 90 minutes in and then try and play at 60%. But he knows that you're at a level now that you can't play at half cock, you can't play 60%. So he puts his hand up straight away, and it's like, I feel all right, but I'm just starting to cramp up in both legs. So the best thing for the team is to come off. And where he's been, I think it tells you the epitome of what you want, selfless, for the betterment of the team. But his 2 performances have been excellent. And we said it all along, we said this before he was in the team. It's not a case of he was a trialist and he had anything to prove, it's just that he couldn't find his way in. But we know he's a good player because we see it every day in training. And
the rest of the squad, are you due anybody back this weekend, or any other injuries picked up?
No more injuries picked up, thankfully. And no, I don't think there's anyone back. Like I say, good to see Rads. Rads has been on the grass on his own with the physios, but he's running, which is a positive. He's not on the Ultra G now. He's running full weight bearing. He's still a couple of months away, but it's a positive sign.
That's good to hear. Exeter up next then. Kind of go from Wrexham and all the hype around there to a team who maybe do fly under the radar a little bit. Do you think that's fair to say? And are they exceeding expectations perhaps this season so far?
From the outside looking in, people would say that. Yeah, I don't think many people would have had Exeter, but they've been on an upward trajectory for probably 4 or 5 years now. I know Gary really well. I used to room with his brother Stephen at Burnley for a long time, so I know Gary's obviously a very good player, had a good career, but he's gone down there. I think I was watching him on TV last week, and he said it was his 100th game. So over time he's built. Because it's tough coming up from League 2 into League 1 when they are a smaller club. They're well supported. They fill it out every week, but it's a small ground, and you're competing against some big teams. But they've got their own philosophy. They keep the ball. They move it around. They flip between formations in a game, as in. Not that they change formations, but they've got an in-possession formation and out-of-possession formation, which a lot of teams do these days. So they're clearly well coached. They've won 3 of the 6 away games. So that will be, again, from our point of view, expectations, supporters. Most supporters won't know a lot about Exeter City, but that's not their job, that's our job. Their job is hopefully to make a lot of noise, and our job is to know about Exeter and deliver a performance they can go and win.
Prior to their defeat this week at Reading, or against Reading, I think they've kept, is it 6 clean sheets they've had in a row? So are you expecting them to be quite difficult to break down on Saturday?
Not conceded many goals. Watching their game from Tuesday night, they shouldn't lose the game. They had enough enough possession, enough shots, enough opportunities to win the game. And as did we against Reading. So they'll be disappointed, but it's really, really congested at the top of the minute. They'll be coming here full of confidence, thinking that they can come and get a result.
After Tuesday, one of the changes that you made was at half-time with Callum Marshall making way, and I think you spoke to Paul Ogden afterwards about, that's a conversation that you were going to have with him. I just wondered kind of how you handle those situations. Obviously, no players like to come off at half-time, but kind of how do you deal with that situation, and how did Callum respond to it?
Tell him the truth. Part of his learning, so he'll be better for it. I watched Sheffield United play Middlesbrough last night, and Finazan sets up the winner. I had him. I took him off 3 times at half-time in League Two. So he just explained to him that he was too lightweight. He wasn't holding up the ball up properly. So he needs to learn the darker arts, if it's not quite happening for you, how to buy contact, how to win a foul and simplify your game. But he takes the information great. We've done some work with him today. But I think his performances, as a general rule, have been excellent. So sometimes at half-time, I'm not there to be their mate. And it's not a personal decision, it's for the betterment of the team. I thought Wardy came on, affected the game really well, and we got control of the game. So in hindsight, it was the right decision. But that doesn't mean that Callum's all of a sudden out of the plans and become a bad player. It wasn't quite working. To be honest, it could have been probably him or Bojan, but with the physicality that they've got had in the team, that probably sways it more towards Callum. But no, it's not like we've discarded him now when we think he's rubbish, but it's explaining the situation. At half-time, I don't have time to give that explanation. It's, right, again, we talk about egos all the time. It's, right, come off. If you don't kick off, swallow it, support the teammates that just come on, and then we can have a conversation about it on the Thursday, which is exactly what's happened today. And he's taking it well.
And obviously you want competition for places, and you've certainly got that up front with Callum and everything that he brings to it. Danny Ward coming on and playing really well. How do you kind of make that decision when you've talked a lot about, you want that consistency, you want to keep faith with the player? As you say, you don't just bin them off if you've had to take them off for whatever reason. But equally, when you've got somebody who's really knocking on the door to say, I want my chance, how do you make that call? And
there's normally a tipping point at some point where if someone's training that well all the time and someone's performances have dipped a little bit, it's like, well, he needs to have a go now. And it's making sure we don't wait too long, or we don't do it too early. That's the balance of making the right decision. But from the players' point of view, all they can do is come on, do well, train well every day, and then we make the decision. And if it gets to a point, they come and knock on the door, and then we have a conversation. We explain why, or not yet, or whatever. But I'm not one for big long yarning stories and things like that, because I think players see through it. So Wardy's been injured, but he did well in the B team. In the B team game for 45 minutes, but that's his first real football, so it's not like he's been banging on the door for weeks and weeks. Callum's been good, but yeah, you want competition for places. You want people pushing each other, and we do have that.
That's one from me, and apologies if this is a bit left field, but Kieran Phillips, how much of an eye are you keeping on him and how he's getting on over in the States, and what's his situation with regard to possible recall? I don't know whether you can just explain a little bit more about where the club are at with him.
I don't know in the answer. I know I watched all his clips. I sat down with Foxy last week and watched all of his goals that he scored over in Sacramento. So it's not like he's at, but I don't know where the club stands. I don't know his contract situation. I don't know when their season ends or anything like that. So now you've caught me on the hop there, so I can't answer that one.
So apologies for that. I mean, is it something that you would look at maybe come January or possibly before, depending on the terms of that? Or
that's it's probably a conversation I probably need to have. Like I said, I don't know what the arrangement with Sacramento is. I don't know how long the loan is. It's he's not been here since I've been here. It's not really been discussed. So I don't know where the lad's at with it. So yeah, if I'm being honest, I'll probably tell by my answer. I don't really know. I'll need to get to the bottom of it then, probably.
Okay. Well, say apologies for putting you on the spot. He's constantly all over social media with his goals and what have you. So he's somebody that's clearly on the fans' radar as well.
And no, I know him. When he was at Morecambe. He did really well at Morecambe. when I was at one of my previous clubs, and we actually tried to take him from his 6 months that he had at Morecambe. So I know about him as a player, but I don't know where the club or him stand with each other at that point.
Okay, thank you very much. Good luck on Saturday.
Thanks, Catherine. To Stephen from We Are Terriers.
Hi, Michael. We've been talking to Ross Burberry about your stuff with Prostate United. Can you tell us a bit about that? Are you been on the bike again this year, or?
Yeah, I've still got to do it today. Unfortunately, I've not done
Sorry
it this
for
morning.
reminding you.
No, they're people like Ross are doing they're doing 10k a day, which I've not run 10k in the last 10 years. So it's for a brilliant cause. I do 15k on a bike every morning. Well, most mornings, some afternoons. So it's not. I don't do that much, but I think the cause, the money that they've raised, I think they're up to over £500,000 now, and the awareness that it's bringing as well. Obviously, prostate cancer's got a big affiliation with football, because the amount of men that it kills, and it's anything that you can do. Ross is a real driver from it, because obviously he was part of the original group that set it up, but it's growing and growing. I know Grant McCann's one of my best mates. They've got a big group doing the runs. So fair play. Anyone doing the running side of it is, I doff my cap to them. But yeah, it's great all round.
Ross was saying it's created a bit of camaraderie with the players as well, because you've both been, staff and players have been out there, running around, cycling, whatever it might be. You found that to be the case?
No, I'm normally on my own in the morning, so I've got no camaraderie because I'm doing it before the players are in. But it's sometimes it's good that the players do see you working hard. Mm-hmm. But Ross to make the awareness, bit of banter between, they can give him. Have you done your run yet? Whilst he's digging them up because their numbers aren't good enough physically on a Tuesday. But he's a fit bloke. You can tell that by looking at him. But no, there's quite a few of the staff been doing it, and it is obviously doing it from a health point of view as well as raising money. But ultimately, it's about raising as much money as we can and the awareness of the charity.
And speaking of Sacramento, the chairman's over this week. Have you had much chance to speak to Kevin at all this week?
I saw Kevin I had about 2 or 3 hours with Kevin last Friday. I speak to Kevin once a week anyway, so I just did it in person in Mark's offices before the Bristol Rovers game. I forgot who we played actually. It's good. It's good. Kevin's straight as a die. Always honest. Tells you what he's feeling, good and bad. Obviously, there's been good and bad. But I'd rather have that. I'd rather someone tell you the truth, same as when I'm talking to a player. Just tell it like it is. Don't try and shades of the truth and different agendas and narratives and things like that. I think I'm fairly similar in terms of call a spade a spade. We started really well and we went on a bad run and we looked like we've recovered a little bit and I've been trying to grow from it. So one thing is he's fully invested. There's no doubt about that. I know he does, the social media thing, which is great. It's not my bag, but he lives in a different part of the world, so he's had an interaction with supporters. And I imagine he opens himself up for a little bit of stick, but that's what social media is. But no, he's been good as gold. He's been supportive. Ultimately, he's a good guy.
Lovely. That's all for me. Thank you.
Thank you. Just give us 1 second. We'll get the microphone around to Leon from the Yorkshire Post. Leon, you're all good, thank you.
Hi, Michael. Hope you're well. I was just thinking, obviously, Matty Pearson's coming to the side and he was out the side, he's come in. And it's inspiration, isn't it? Incentive for anyone at the minute who's out the side. They will get the chance at some point if they perform. A very good chance of staying in. There's people like Hoggy who's not in a minute and Jay Medley and there's probably a few others as well.
Yeah, it's what you want. Ollie Turton's another example. Ollie was completely out of the squad. He wasn't any part of it.
Yeah.
But you come in, you do well, and it won't always happen because there might be a nailed-on starter who misses a game through a suspension, so to speak, and someone come in and does well, but the other person's got enough credit in the bank, so it's not always the case. But Matty's come in, said it before, first 4 or 5 games, never got off the bench. Normally make 5 subs in a game and he's the only outfield player. Does he feel like a bit of a spare part sometimes? But I've been there in the position that he plays. You don't often get on. You're not like an attacking midfielder or a winger or a forward where you generally always get a chance to get on the pitch, and it's frustrating. But the best part of Matty is probably his personality in terms of his honesty and his hard working. Hard work pays you back. You keep your head down. You take your ego out of the situation. Just keep working hard, get your opportunity, and stay in the team. And that's he's been great. I thought the back three were really good on Saturday and Tuesday. Sorry, more so Tuesday than Saturday. Didn't have a lot to do Saturday. We talk about digging in, sticking together, not turning into a team of individuals. And I think they had one shot on target. It was their lowest XG of the season by a long way. So there's signs that we're doing something. Or they're doing something right from that point of view.
Looking at your game on Tuesday, all right, the result, it was a good result, but not as sexy as going to Bolton and scoring 4 or scoring 2 at Peter. But I think people in football would probably recognise that's a serious result. Do you think it's the most significant in your season in terms of your progress so far, maybe?
In terms of a mentality, probably. Like the amount of pressure that we came under in the first half an hour of the game with a boisterous crowd. We've had too many times this season already where we've talked about that heat, the pressure, and we've not dealt with it properly, whether it's been an own goal or a referee decision or an injury or just a bit of pressure, and we've sort of buckled a little bit, but we didn't. And I think that the fact that we didn't buckle, but B got strong, came through it, and then got stronger in the second half is hopefully the first sign of positivity in terms of that mentality that we've talked about, rather than just being good and win or not very good and lose. Sometimes we've been good and lost, and we found ways to lose. So it's hopefully that's a positive sign in terms of that. Like you said, have we been better with the ball? Yeah. Have we had better results that catch the eye more so? Probably, but from the bits that I'm looking at more psychologically, you can't actually put your finger on an actual point of what it is and what it isn't. But the things that we think that bad run showed up, I think it was hopefully a marker that we're going in the right direction.
Yeah. There was a bit of a school of thought before the season started. It's going to be haves and have-nots. There's going to be 5 or 6 clubs. That's it. You look at the table, and I had a little look earlier. I think there's 3 points separate about 10 or 11 clubs, and there's a chance that 1 or 2 may sort of last the course of maybe sneak in. So it does look a little bit open in that regard.
Yeah, I think the amount of change that we've had, the good thing we're still in and around it. The amount of injuries that we've had, I think we've had a tough run. I think you look at the games that we've had away from home already. Rotherham's, Birmingham's, Bolton's, Peterborough's, Wrexham's. We've had some tough runs in that. We've had a load of injuries. We're still in and around. It's important now we try and put a sustained run together. That doesn't mean we have to win at the weekend, but in the next 10 games, we don't want 5 wins, 5 losses. We definitely can't have 5 losses in the next 10 games. So it's building and building, getting people back fit, and then hopefully, as the relationships grow between the players, talk about relationship between the players and the supporters. Hopefully, they see that growing, confidence grows, performances improve, which improved performances. The points are a byproduct of those performances, and it's people in my position always say they need time. It takes time, because it does. It's a fact, but you need to win enough games to keep you in a position to build the relationships. So I think that's the positives. We've had a bad month where it showed up quite a few things. We're trying to adjust it. We're trying to arrest it. Showing little signs of improvements on that, because I think we still got some good players.
Yeah. I was going to ask you finally, it's not specifically to do with Exeter, but it looked like a club who've used the loan market very well, bringing in some good young players from clubs above. I suppose it's a way that clubs like that can bridge the gap a little bit. They don't have many resources as a lot of other clubs at this level, but if they're shrewd in the loan market and recruitment, it looks like they're one of those clubs that are doing that.
Yeah, they've got a good academy as well, so they've made a lot of money through the academy in the last few years. Even if it's not the initial fees, it's the kickbacks of people like Ollie Watkins going to Villa. They'll get a big chunk of that. They've had loads of them. And I think the loan market is one of those, particularly I've been at smaller clubs. So from my experience, when I was at Cheltenham, half my team was loan players, but they built half the team, but they played every week. So we got to a point where the bigger clubs wanted to send their players to us because, well, you got coached, but then they're guaranteed minutes. Now, bigger clubs, we want to bring our own through if we can, because you don't want to be the downside to it is you're developing other people's players. So you're not getting the kickback in terms of financial gain. So it's getting the balance. But for them to be able to compete, being shrewd in the loan market is, and they've always been a development club from years ago, even when Paul Tisdale was doing it year on year. So they've got that reputation that they coach and they develop, and they give young players a chance. So it's a well-run club, and they do use the loan market well, and it is a rich source sometimes for the smaller clubs to compete against the bigger ones.
Yeah. Thanks for your time as always, Michael. Thank you.
Cheers, Leon.
Thanks, Leon. See everyone at the John Smith Stadium.
Thank you. Cheers.
Shopping, working, and relaxing online can attract various digital threats. To improve your protection against them, just turn on NordVPN. This cybersecurity app will block web trackers and malware-infected sites. It will also encrypt your internet traffic without losing a smooth connection. Get NordVPN now. NordVPN, cybersecurity built for every day.